Alright, it's only me. I've just come on to talk about a recording I did yesterday at the Motörhead track Die You Bastard, which was originally on the 1983 album Another Perfect Day, featuring Brian Robertson, the Scottish guitar player famous for the Thin Lizzy days. Also, when you think back on it, Another Perfect Day is probably the last thing Brian Robertson ever did that had any kind of significance. But I mean, he arrived in Motörhead to replace Fast Eddie Clarke at kind of short order, and came in and acted like a bit of an arse to all intents and purposes, both with the band and the fans. And also, can people say that Another Perfect Day is like their favourite Motörhead album? I think it's a good and interesting album, good album to listen to, but as a Motörhead album, you can't beat like Overkill. Another Perfect Day is pretty good, but I do find a lot of the stuff's been stretched out a wee bit to accommodate Brian Robertson's kind of flowery guitar style. Sometimes I'm thinking on the album as well that some of these solos are actually taking the piss, but that's just purely my opinion. But anyway, getting back to what we've got on here, when I was thinking about doing one half an hour Perfect Day, it was like, why not just do the fastest one? So that's what I did, because this is the last track on the album, and ridiculously fast. And as we play through these tapes here, it'll show you how I was going to struggle to get the drum part done. But what I've got on here is I've got 3 guitars playing the same thing on track 1, 2 and 7. Track 3 is the bass, track 4 is the drums, track 5 lead vocal, track 6 backing vocal, and track 8 I've dropped in the guitar solos in there. So let's have a play through this, because this is a ridiculously fast song. That's the bass in there. You get this silly drum fill. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like the guitars and bass. Playing fast is kind of easy, but it's the drumming. You can smell the danger, watch your step. See the friendly stranger, scratch your neck. Keep it in the dark now, it's alright. You know. That's the 3 guitars you can hear there. Yes, there's the vocal in there.
Searching all the bedrooms, use your head. Listen to your conscience, wake the dead.
A bit of backing vocal in here.
Your shadow's alive. It breathes at your side. Got no place to hide. Be with you till the day you die.
Here we're coming out with guitar solo. That's when I'm thinking that he's taking the piss. Because there's a lot of tick-tapping. Getting a drum beat that works for you. And it did as best as I could there, but no easy. It's a ridiculously fast drumming by Phil Taylor. So this was a fun track to record. Good to day one off another perfect day, because I'm going to turn these guitars off because I'm just going to play it on the guitar. Because, like I say, it's a lot of people's favourite Motörhead album, but at the same time, very much different for the other Motörhead album, just because of the amount of space that the lead guitar's been given on it, which is purely to accommodate Brian Robertson. But anyway, let's talk about what we've got on here. It's a good fun track, really fast track. It's all about this riff where it's that's where it starts off in the bass, but then you go to this bit to begin with, it comes in with this. And when you come to the guitar solo, you're going from an F to a G, and then up to an A flat, to a D flat, to an F sharp, to a B flat. It's kind of crazy patterns here with this. Twice the first time, fourth the second time, twice the third time, and then fourth the last time. Just with that, just hitting an E, and a bad E chord at the 7th fret, but then doing it with that, pedaling on that bottom E string with that. But that was the pattern. Then for the first solo, what I did was just this tapping thing with this. And then for the last solo, you're coming in hitting the bent up E when he's saying die, so you're like. Nope. And then at the end you've got this figure that's kind of mimicking the riff, where you're going. Finishing on that kind of mad bend on the C. So let's have a play through this. This can only go wrong because it's that fast. We drink a tea first. Like, the guitar will be hard, but the bass will be harder. But anyway, this is Die You Bastard. So that's how you play the guitar part. We'll move on to the bass part now, which is slightly trickier, just because you're playing the bigger guitar, which is always a lot of fun. Right, here we go. I'm going to switch over to the Motörhead sound, which is... Ah, there we are. No, wrong. Aye, when we're talking about the bass here... Whoa, what was that? Oh, my lighter. I might drop that. Need that. Turning the guitars back on, turn the bass off. Right, so the bass part just basically the same, just this. Oh, that is the wrong plectrum. Where's my flipping? My big one. Sorry about this is typical Saturday afternoon nonsense. But aye, here we go, it's just in and then again, only you're just moving up the chords with it. You've seen the patterns. Let's get tore into this. Here's what we're going to do. Wait a minute, we drink of tea. Just to whap my whistle. This is Die You Bastard bass part. that's how you play the Motörhead song, Die You Bastard, which was the last track on the Another Perfect Day album for 1983. Imagine having a song called Die You Bastard. But anyway, I better go. I've got to go and pick the Wayne up for the station at the back of 3. Be back on later, can do something else. But keep listening to Motörhead.